everybody. Happy Thursday. It's good to see everybody. We've had a very eventful week. Spent the week in Idaho with a lot of my family members that I haven't seen for a long time. And my mother's 90th birthday. She was radiant, and we all had a really, really good time. But now we're back, and it's back to real life. Idaho's beautiful, but I'm happy to be home. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the herb of the year last year. It was last year's herb of the year, but we have only just begun this year, so we're going to talk about it. The herb of the year last year was yarrow, and a lot of you may already know about it because you have taken my classes, and we've discussed yarrow at length. I've had a lot of it growing on my property. Some of you may have it growing on yours. Beautiful, beautiful plant, but it has earned its honor of being herb of the year in many, many ways. It's a great herb. For those of you just joining us, we're talking about the herb of the year last year, which is yarrow. And before we end tonight's session, I want to go over some of the details for the detox camp and remind you guys about that coming up. That'll be February 23rd, 24th, and 25th, if I recall correctly. And I do have the detox kit up on my website for those of you that want to just purchase what we're going to need for those 3 days and get a good sense of what's going to be happening. I thought tonight about something that I'm going to go ahead and add to that kit that I think will be really beneficial. It's based on some conversations that I've had in the last couple of days with people, and I think this would be a really good added herb to our mix. Before I get into yarrow, I want to talk to you a little bit about something, since we're talking about the detox camp. In the past 6 days, I have been privy to several conversations about people who are literally dropping dead. And some of these people I know, and some of these people I don't know. And my first question, sometimes only in my mind, because I don't say anything out loud, is, I wonder if they got the shot. Because, these are what would otherwise healthy people, and they're just either coming down with strange cancers or brain bleeds or just literally dropping dead. And this has been, well, I can think of 3 right off the top of my head in the last 6 days. It's a little unnerving because we know what we know. And I don't like to live in fear. You know me. I mean, that's the whole reason I became an herbalist, was to help people understand that they don't have to live in fear. Okay? When I was diagnosed with cancer, that could have been a really, really fearful thing for me, especially since I was alone. And I didn't have any insurance. That was another thing. Oh, no, I still did have insurance now that I think about it, because I was still teaching. But it was extremely, that is like, the scariest thing that you can ever tell anybody is that they have cancer. But in reality, it isn't, when you understand the whole process, and the fact that cancer has to have something to live on. It can't live without food. And if your body is toxic, it's a breeding ground. It's a buffet for different types of cancers. So that's one reason that we are going to tackle this 3-day cleanse together, is so that you can get the gist of it. You can get the hang of it. I'll walk you through it. We'll do it together. And then I'm hoping, my prayer is that you will continue. It wouldn't hurt you to do it every month or every 6 weeks. But at the very least, I would say quarterly, because of the amount of toxins that we are now exposed to without even willingly going and getting any other things introduced into our bodies. Just being alive on this planet right now is so toxic. So we have got to be more aggressive with our cleansing processes, and more aware of taking care of our earth suit. That's what I call it. This is our earth suit. It's not who we are. It's what houses who we are. And, you can be reckless with it, but we've all seen what people's cars look like that don't, when their owners don't take care of them or aren't maintaining them and don't do what they can to preserve them. We aren't God, but we have been given a gift, and I think it would be a good idea to be responsible with your earth suit. I mean, if you want to live, and if you want to have a good, healthy life, and don't want to live in fear, then that's what you need to do. So we'll talk more about that when we get into our detoxing time. But for tonight, let's talk about yarrow. Yarrow is the herb of the year last year, 2023. And it's all of the parts above ground, the aerial parts, are the parts of the plant that you use to make medicine. Yarrow is used to do so many things, everything from fevers to common colds, to hay fever, to if you've got menstrual problems, if you have dysentery, diarrhea, loss of appetite. Hi, Crystal. I hope you made it okay. You in Memphis now? Sorry we didn't get a chance to talk. It's been a day. Anyway, GI issues, excessive swelling, any of those things, yarrow is your go-to plant. And I'm telling you, it's very easy to grow. And it's a beautiful plant. And it will reseed and proliferate pretty much on its own. It's native to the drier areas, like the prairies and, the meadows and that kind of thing. But in Arkansas, we can grow yarrow like no tomorrow. So it has adapted to other environments and climates. It grows best in the zones like 3 to 9. So pretty much everybody can grow yarrow. Okay. Let's talk about some of the things in detail. Okay. If you were in my class, I would say, how many of you can tell me what the word for an herb that makes you sweat is? And that word is, pick me. It is diaphoretic. Diaphoretic herbs are the herbs that induce sweating. And you think, ooh, I hate sweating. Well, you know what? Sweating is one of the healthiest things for your body, especially if you have a fever. Also, if you are, like I said, if you have excessive swelling, when I for some reason, my trip to Idaho, I don't know if it was maybe elevation changes or what, but man, I was so well, of course, eating different kinds of foods that I'm not used to eating, but I was really swollen. And so I started putting cinnamon on everything I could think of to put cinnamon on. Drinking, I went to a little store there in Coeur d'Alene and bought some parsley tea and started drinking parsley tea so that I could get some of the water out of my body, because I was just really puffy and just didn't feel well. So yarrow is another diaphoretic herb, and I'm telling you, it is made for alcohol, and by that I mean as a tincture. It macerates so well in alcohol. You can extract just about everything out of that herb using alcohol. But you might also, experience some of the more extreme effects because it does macerate well in alcohol. So moderation is a good idea there. Okay, it's been used to induce sweating and to stop wound bleeding. It's also been reported to reduce heavy menstrual bleeding and pain. Okay, so it induces sweating, but it also stops heavy bleeding. Interesting, don't you think? Because on one end, it's dilating and it's inducing sweat. It's causing your body to heat up and sweat. And then on the other end, it's constricting to reduce bleeding and to heal, like open wounds and that kind of thing. So yarrow and cayenne together would be a really good combination, wouldn't they? I use cayenne pepper on an open wound instantly. Count to 10, it's done. Nosebleed, done. Anything like that, cayenne pepper will stop the bleeding almost instantly. Yarrow is also good for that. It's an antiviral herb. Anything that you can get your hands on that is antiviral needs to be in your house, because, they've been trying to kill us with viruses for quite some time now. So keep antiviral things within your reach. Okay? Grow them, dry them, put them in containers, tincture them, do whatever you need to do to keep them on hand. It is frequently recommended for flus and colds, and one of the reasons I think it works so well with all of that is because it is a diaphoretic herb, and it will cause you to sweat. And of course, what are you doing? You're detoxing your body. You're getting the stuff out of your pores. You're pulling the stuff out of your pores. Now, one thing that you need to know when you are sweating like that, or when you are doing a castor oil pack or anything like that where you're drawing stuff out through your skin, you need to always, in between treatments, cleanse that area really well with apple cider vinegar or baking soda wash, something like that, so that the stuff doesn't just go right back into your skin, because you absorb more through your skin. It's just going to go right back in. So in between treatments, in between, packs or whatever you're doing, take time to use a clean rag or whatever, and wash that area down well with, I use apple cider vinegar and water, but whatever you have on hand, just get the area clean so stuff doesn't go back in to your system again. What else can we talk to you about yarrow? Okay, so when you're growing yarrow, it's going to get kind of tall and stocky and real flat. The flower heads are kind of flat, oval shaped flowers. I wish I could show you, but I have to use my cell phone to do these. For some reason, I can't do Facebook Live on my computer. I don't know why. I must have some setting wrong in Facebook or something that's not allowing me. You know what I think it is? I think that Crooked House Herbals, my page, is a secondary page to my Wendy Wonder page. And I'm wondering if, because I do the lives on Crooked House Herbals, I don't know. I don't know why, because it lets me do it on my phone. So anyway, Google or look up yarrow and you will see beautiful pictures of yarrow. Yellow flowers, red flowers, white flowers, they're all good. It's all the same. And if you cut them back as they get, you know, leggy and tall, just cut them back some. They'll bush out even more. I mean, you could literally have yarrow hedges. That would be awesome. The deer kind of like it though, so if you've got a lot of deer, you want to plant it maybe inside the lavender rosemary perimeter, because they don't like lavender and rosemary. If you have deer issues, trust me, I know this. You want to plant those aromatic volatile oil herbs around the outside, like lavender and rosemary and wormwood, those kind of things. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it'll help it bloom more. I love to use the yarrow flowers in tea and that kind of stuff. It's also very, very, very good for your skin. It's antimicrobial. So, and it's also very, like an analgesic, it's pain relieving. Okay. But it's really soothing on your skin. So if you want to make a nice soothing spray, you know, maybe do a hydrosol of yarrow, or include, you know, just those of you that don't know how to make hydrosol, maybe we'll do that sometime online. We'll do a hydrosol class. That would be fun. But there's some pretty good YouTube videos on there. But if you make a hydrosol of yarrow flowers and then add some aloe vera gel, like scrape some of the aloe vera out of the middle of an aloe vera leaf and blend it up with your hydrosol, your skin just loves it. I mean, there's nothing better than those two for your skin. It's very soothing. It's very nourishing. It's very restorative. And you know how sometimes you get those little veins, those little broken capillaries on your skin, especially if you have sensitive skin, or, you know, maybe, are fair-skinned. Yarrow is really good for healing all of those little broken capillaries and clearing up your complexion. It's really nice. Again, you know, we talked about the fact that it heals bleeding wounds and those kinds of things. So it would make sense that it would work on the capillary thing too. When it comes to using yarrow, you can use the whole plant, flowers, leaves, roots, all of it. The energetics of the plant. Okay, well, we always know that when you can get to the root, when you use the root of a plant, more than likely that is where most of the energetics are. I don't use a lot of yarrow root though. I use more, I do use some, but I use a lot of the flowers and the stems. I'll just cut the whole aerial part of the plant and dry the whole thing and grind it all together and use that. There are some specific applications for the root, and sometimes I do harvest a little bit of the root, but I try not to do too much of that, only because I have found that the aerial parts of the plant are just as effective, and I don't like messing with roots if I don't have to. Let me see how we're doing. Does anybody have any questions? I guess I should get my stuff together here. Okay, yarrow is also an anti-inflammatory. Who knew? Anti-inflammatories, as we know, are anytime we can get a hold of those too, we need to, because the toxicity in our body causes us to be pretty much chronically inflamed in one area or another. And if you think about it, it gets back to just like I said before, 50 years ago, people just didn't deal with the stuff that we have every single day now. And, people wear it like a badge. Oh yeah, I have lupus, or I have fibromyalgia, or I have, this autoimmune, I've got this, I've got RA, I've got this, I've got that. And those are all inflammatory conditions. We deal with inflammation constantly, and it's a telltale sign of toxicity. Plain and simple. You're toxic. So, what do you do with that? Well, you detox and you reduce inflammation. You reduce it topically, you reduce it internally, you do whatever you can to reduce inflammation. You get rid of inflammation, most likely you're going to get rid of your disease. Just saying. Okay, so anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, astringent, making it ideal or remedy for treating your scalp conditions, which is 90% of the reason you have a stunted hair growth problem. People that are having problems growing hair. Because it's high in natural saponins and fatty acids, yarrow extract is perfect for making natural scalp and hair cleansers. And it has actually been known to return people's hair color. I haven't tried it, but I don't know. I kind of like my hair the way it is now, so I don't really worry about it. But there was a woman that was in one of my Master Herbalist classes, and she had beautiful red hair, right? And everybody was commenting on it, your hair's so pretty, and and she laughed, and we said, like, what's so funny? And she said, my hair used to be totally white. Like, I lost all the color in my hair. She's, my age. And she said, I just figured I was going gray and that was going to be the end of it. But I started researching yarrow, and I made a hair rinse with yarrow, and I did it consistently. And she said, my hair color's back. That's all she did, she was just using, but it stimulates the scalp in such a way that I guess she still had some oomph in there, and her hair popped out red again. So, and if you are having hair growth issues, yarrow is something you might want to think about. It does have a lot of saponins. Saponins are what make things sudsy. You can always tell if a plant has a lot of saponins in it if you get it wet and just kind of rub it between your fingers, and it feels kind of soapy. So they're like fatty acids. So they're going to be very lubricating and very moisturizing. Okay. What else? Oh, yarrow lowers your blood pressure. So again, you want to add some of that to a tea, or take it as a tincture if you've got blood pressure issues. It could strengthen the effects of prescription drugs taken to lower your blood pressure. So, if you're going to start introducing it into your body and you are on meds, again, you're just going to want to do the balancing act and slowly ease yourself off the medication a little bit at a time. Just monitor your blood pressure, make sure that it's staying where it needs to stay as you are taking in the yarrow, and then, eventually wean yourself off the other. It's pretty awesome. Let's see, what else can I tell you about it? I made some notes. I love yarrow. I always forget about it. I have so much of it that I've grown and dried, and it's like, what can I put this in? What can I put this in? Because the stuff it's just such good stuff. It's the one, okay, yarrow is one of the primal remedies of the Western herbal tradition. it can be called the master of the blood. And this is one reason I wanted to talk about it tonight, because we're, approaching our detox time. And one of the things we're going to be doing is detoxing our blood. And yes, there is yarrow in the tea. It regulates the flow of blood to and from the surface, in and out of the capillaries and venules, thickening and thinning. Through this, it cures all manner of wounds, bruises, hemorrhaging, and clotting. I think the question was, does it thin your blood? Well, it thins your blood if it needs to be thinned, just like cayenne pepper does. Cayenne pepper does the same thing. So if you have issues with cayenne pepper for whatever reason, hurts my stomach or whatever, then try yarrow. Yarrow is very pleasant, doesn't burn, it's not hot. Doesn't do everything cayenne does, but it will work on your blood as far as regulating it. It won't stop a heart attack like cayenne does, but it's a good thing, if you're looking for something to help keep your blood thin or whatever, yarrow would be good. According to the USDA database, yarrow's deep roots mine the subsoil for potassium, calcium, and magnesium. So again, if you're looking for a good source of those minerals that is a natural, that your body's going to assimilate and not slough off. Like, I've talked to you many times about buying calcium tablets or, taking magnesium tablets or whatever. A lot of that is not going to be assimilated by your body, and it's going to lodge in your weak areas, and then before long you're going to have joint issues and arthritis and things. Everybody chalks everything up to arthritis. Well, a lot of it is just sludge. It's just stuff that's not being assimilated. So and most of it's in the mineral families. That's why distilled water needs to be a part of your diet, because distilled water is completely empty and hungry, and it'll go through and it'll grab all of those things that are just sitting in your joints and your weak areas and wash them out. It's not going to take the good stuff. It won't leach, but it'll grab whatever's loose and hanging out. Okay? So, distilled water, do it. Okay, what else can we say about that? Yarrow may also mine for phosphorus and copper, making it a potentially nutrient-rich match. So, for that reason, and that's one of the incidences when using the root would be more effective than using the aerial parts. If you are wanting to if you're wanting to put those minerals back into your body, if you need those, then you would want to use the root more than the top part, because that's where you're going to get a lot of those yummy minerals. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could actually use yarrow as a really good amendment to your soil, your fertilizers, and that kind of thing. Because of its potential ability to fertilize, grow yarrow under fruit trees to enhance fruit production. It likes the sun or the shade, so it'll grow either place. So yeah, plant it around where you need some natural fertilizer. Good idea. I got lots of places I can plant yarrow. May mine copper from the subsoil, which is an important micronutrient for plant growth and an essential amendment for acidic soils. Okay, let's see. It does attract beneficial insects and pollinators. The bees love yarrow. I'm telling you, yarrow is really fun to grow. And it's really easy too. Okay, this is one reason yarrow and many other accumulators of copper and zinc are used to clean up lead-contaminated sites. The lead concentrates in the plants, which are dug up at the end of each season, roots and all, and disposed of. Poor things. But in that sentence, does anything ring a bell? Bing, bing. Copper and zinc. Okay, so that's one reason. That's one thing that makes the plant such a good antiviral. Is because, do you remember back in the day when you know what was just coming around, and the frontline doctors were saying, you know, take zinc. Make sure you get plenty of zinc to fight this off, this virus. Okay? Well, yarrow is a natural form of zinc. And it's one of the only kinds that I can actually take. I have trouble taking zinc. My body doesn't like it in a pill form at all. I don't do it. I just don't take it. So I find it in natural. I like to eat it in nuts. It's in chocolate. I'll get my zinc in other ways. But yarrow has a good concentration of zinc. So, you guys gonna go get some yarrow plants pretty soon? I would. And just to put a little plug in for Debbie Tripp, if you live in the Hot Springs, Royal, Crystal Springs area, you might want to get a hold of her, Rosemary Hill, and order some, because she'll start planting seeds and putting things together for people, and let her know that you would like to have some yarrow plants, and she would do that. That's what she does. She's the herb lady. White, yellow, or pink flowers may attract many types of pollinators who prefer umbelled shaped flowers for nectar collection. And they do. They have that umbel shape, kind of like Queen Anne's lace, or, you know, hemlock. Those kinds of, that kind of looks like a little umbrella. Makes a good ground cover. It'll repel some pests because it does have some kind of a pungent odor that they don't like, but it'll attract the beneficial ones, the bees and the ones that you want. So grow it near, you know, your tomatoes, some of your other herbs that are your other plants that, you know, you're always getting bugs on. Plant some yarrow around it, or plant them near your yarrow, whichever you've got growing first. I do that all the time. My herbs are all mixed in with my vegetables, just because. Another one that's really good for attracting bugs is rue. So if you plant rue in and around your garden, it'll get real big and real pretty, and all the bugs will go to that. It's real hardy, and they'll stay off of your other ones that you don't want bugs on, which is everything else. Okay, the medicinal uses. Back over to this. Flower and upper portions of the leaf and stem have many medicinal uses, making yarrow an important herb to have in your medicinal garden. Again, I talked about reducing the fevers, poultices, calm inflammation, and bruising and that kind of thing. It'll stop bleeding. It's good at first aid herb. It's good for healing rashes. It'll address bug bites and bee stings and cuts and burns. My favorite for a lot of that, is everyone knows, is plantain, but yarrow's good too. It'll run a close second. Only the white or pink flower yarrows should be used for internal medicine. Well, I've used yellow for a lot of times, but I mostly have white now that I think about it. Pink is pretty too. I like the red ones too. There's some really pretty red. Tinctures, elixirs, syrups. Ooh, yarrow honey. That would be good. Get some raw honey and infuse yarrow in it. Use the pink flowers or the white flowers for that. Its root system will carve through clay. It'll carve through anything, because, hey, when I lived in Royal, I lived on a rock pile, and the rest of the dirt was clay. And I had beautiful yarrow plants. as tall as me. They were huge. So it'll carve through just about anything. And it will reseed itself. So you don't even have to worry about it. Once you get a couple good plants going, you'll have more the next year. And it's very easy to grow. And, you know, the bees will help you too. They'll pollinate things and take it around. Let's see. What else can I tell you? Okay, here's something that I do. I do make a yarrow oil. And I've talked to you a little bit before about infusing oils and making oils, which then can be used to make salves or creams or other things. But it's really anti-inflammatory. So it makes a good rub, and it's astringent, so it'll help pull things together and dry out stuff, you know, that needs to be. So if you were going to use it as an astringent, like for poison ivy or something, I would probably not use it as an oil. I would use it as a spray, like maybe make a tincture and then water it down with some witch hazel and use that as a topical spray for poison ivy. Put some plantain in it and then you got it down, because plantain's great for poison ivy. Carminative, digestive, expectorant, hypotensive, all of those things are in yarrow. Promotes good blood circulation, can improve circulatory disorders like varicose veins and hemorrhoids. And let's see, helps reduce inflammation in the body. Oh, also your nasal and respiratory tract. So, I'm going to write that down, because maybe I will add yarrow to my nose spray. Where's my pen? Okay. Yeah, because it'll help reduce swelling in your nasal passages, your upper respiratory. What else? Digestive system, especially if you overeat spicy food. Yarrow's very soothing and calming for that. Again, it's a good one for removing toxins from your bloodstream. Provides relief among those with arthritis and rheumatism. Helps prevent uric acid from accumulating in your joints and muscles. So those of you that have uric acid issues like gout, yarrow tea, add that to your list. Okay? Yeah, it'll help eliminate toxins through perspiration because it's diaphoretic. We've talked about that. Excess salt and water from the body. Okay, let's see what else we can talk about. All right, so let's connect some dots. We've got an herb here that is anti-inflammatory. It's antiviral. It's a diaphoretic. It promotes circulation. It removes toxins from your bloodstream and your cells. I'm going somewhere with this. Hang on just a second. Okay. It is a good source of minerals that our body is in dire need of these days. And it can be used, like I said, topically or internally. So all of that happens in one beautiful plant. If we were to just use yarrow and not even, think about the power that you could have if you added some cayenne pepper, which we also know is a diaphoretic herb. It's also an anti-inflammatory. It's very healing. stops blood clotting, but it also thins your blood when it needs to be thinned. It'll stop a heart attack. Yarrow is also good at keeping your blood thin. And you add a pinch of that, and you add plantain, which we know for a fact is super antitoxin. It sucks toxins out, and it heals amazingly. I know a lot of you have always heard my stories, but I'll never forget the first time I ever really discovered plantain and how it became my favorite herb. I mean, this was like my favorite herb in the world. Because I'm sort of a calamity Jane, and I'm always hurting myself. And I was in my wood shop. I was working on something. I was working on my squirrel saw, and I cut my thumb. And I cut it pretty bad. Like, blood was splurting out everywhere, and I could see in there, you know? It was like, oh boy. So, of course, I turned everything off. I ran upstairs, and I remembered about cayenne pepper. So I threw some cayenne pepper on there, and it stopped the bleeding. Of course, it looks scary, but it's just red pepper, so it's okay. It's not. And it stopped the bleeding, so I kind of wiped it off a little bit, and then I ran outside, and I pulled up some plantain that was growing in the yard, and I chewed on it a little bit, and I wrapped it around my thumb, and I put a Band-Aid over that. And I noticed, you know, like a little later in the day that my thumb wasn't really hurting anymore. The cayenne pepper is really good for taking that pain out just like that. And plantain does that too, but, you know, almost immediately. That's why my Deep Treat is such a great product, because it's got cayenne and stuff in it, and it you know, it'll break up all that blood pooling and everything and keep you from getting bruises and stuff, but it also takes the pain out because it's doing that. So I noticed that my thumb wasn't hurting anymore, and I was like, So I thought, well, I guess I should take a look at this, you know, maybe, I don't know, I might need to stitch it up or something. I don't know what I may need to do. So I took the Band-Aid off, and then I pulled back the leaf. And I'm going to say this was probably 5 hours, maybe, into the evening. And I pulled back the leaf, and I looked at it, and it had already started growing back together. I mean, my finger was all green from the leaf, but my finger was already growing back together. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I mean, it wasn't hurting. So I chewed up another leaf, and I wrapped it around there again, stuck another Band-Aid on there. And by the next day, I was like all healed up. I mean, I had skin growing over it. And it had been maybe 24 hours. And I didn't have any pain, and I don't have a scar. It was this thumb, but you couldn't tell by looking at it. So plantain is something else that I use a lot of, because you just can't, I mean, internally, it works just as well inside as it does outside. So if you've got acne, or if you've got stuff going on with your skin, or if you've got, you know, external things, most likely it's something going on the inside. So the first thing you want to do is clean up the inside. Now, just a word of warning, sometimes when you clean up the inside, stuff comes on the outside. So, you know, even when we do our detox camp, you know, we all may get on our Google Meet times, and we're gonna be all broken out. Maybe not. It just depends on how where your body's at. But sometimes that does happen, because it'll bring stuff to the surface. But then we'll just take care of it. It'll go away, because it doesn't have anywhere else to go. It'll only manifest on the outside of your skin if it's going on the inside. And if you're clean on the inside, your skin will be beautiful. You won't have anything on it. So that's the goal, right? Detox the inside. So anyway, plantain, yarrow, and cayenne are 3 herbs that I highly recommend that you have handy. You know, along with garlic and a few others. But Can you see the benefit of having yarrow in your garden? Not only is it good for you, but it's good for your soil. It's good for the other plants that grow around it. You know, it's the same thing with comfrey. I love to grow comfrey because everything that grows around my comfrey grows really big. Comfrey is soil food. And in fact, I used to have a friend that made, she would make comfrey tea by the gallons and bring it to the farmer's market and sell it as fertilizer. People bought it. And I thought, really? All you got to do is make some comfrey tea. But, you know, people don't have comfrey. So they would come and they would buy it because it really helped their plants, especially when you're like first planting, you've got little seedlings, or, you know, they're just coming up. That's a great time to feed them with some comfrey tea. And you could add some yarrow to that, make a comfrey yarrow tea, and, you know, your garden will benefit even more. So, some things to think about because spring's coming. I don't know if any of you guys saw my little thing I did this afternoon. I showed you my little comfreys coming up, and I've got rhodiola coming up, and I've got elecampane. It's kind of coming out of a weird place, but it's coming up. And my evening primrose is starting to look like it wants to come alive. So what this translates to is I'm going to have to get outside and start pulling up all the dead stuff all around it so that they can have a clean place to live. But it's exciting. I love spring. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the detox camp, and I need to give you another date. The date is Monday. Let me see. I don't know what that date is. Where's my calendar? Monday. Okay, today is the 15th. 16th, 17th, 18th. So I think it's the 19th. I want to say the 19th. Anyway, whatever Monday is, that is going to be my cutoff day for ordering the detox kits. Okay? Because I need to put them all together and get them shipped to you so you have them by the next weekend. So no later than Monday. Actually, let's just say Sunday night. I need to have any orders for detox kits by Sunday night. So spread the word. Anybody else who's wanting to join the detox camp needs to go ahead and get me. If they want the kit, then they need to get online, and it's listed as the detox kit. So get online, order it, and get that done no later than Sunday night, so that whatever I've got by Sunday night I can put together on Monday and get everything shipped out to you guys, and you should have it in plenty of time. Alrighty. What we're going to do is we will get together Thursday night like we always do, but then Friday we will start our detox. And I think what I'll do is I'll give some instructions on Thursday night at the end of the live for all you guys that are doing the camp, what we do first. And then what I plan to do to make it easy for everybody is I will just do little live videos throughout the day and say, okay, it's time now to take this tincture, or it's time for your 3rd cup of clean tea, or, you know, whatever you need to know. And I'll just come on for a few minutes, and I will also take any, you know, if you guys have got questions in between those times, you know, message me, and I'll try to address them on the next little live that I do when I come on. And that way, in case somebody else has the same question, they're benefiting from it, and it's not just only, you know, coming to you. And then we'll do that throughout the days. And then at the end of the detox on Sunday, I want to send out everybody a Google Meet link. And if you have Google Meet on your phone, you can do it on your phone, or you can do it on your computer. Just, you know, make sure you have the app. And we'll all get on together, and we'll talk about how we're feeling. And if you decide that you need to do that before the end, let me know, and I'll put a link out before then, and we can always, we can do a Google Meet anytime. So I just don't want to suck up all your time. I don't want you to have to be on everything, because that's stressful. So, but if you need it, and if you want to have some conversations, I think it's like an hour. We have an hour for free every time we do it. So I can send out a link. That's why it's really important that I have everybody's emails. And I will send out an email with a list of, I have some other foods that I want you guys to be aware of and maybe have on hand, and a few other little supplies. So I'll send that list out via email by Thursday. I'll try to do it Wednesday, but we'll see how it goes. And let me think if there's anything else I needed to tell you. Well, I can tell you, I'll just verbally tell you this list, and then I'll put it in the email just in case you guys need a little more time to get your hands on stuff. And also, if somebody will do me a favor, actually, I can do it right now. I'm going to check on my website and see if I've got that chelating pesto recipe on my website. If I do, that'll be good. If I don't, I will make sure I put it up there. Cricket House. It's really good, and that might be something you might want to make so you have something to eat. That's yummy. Let's see. Let me see how I can find this. Okay, I'm looking. Let me see. Oh, I found it. Nope, I did not find it. Did you know? That's what I need. Or maybe it's under resources. Okay, I got a pretty good article under my Did You Know category on castor oil, if anybody's interested in knowing that. I've also got something on Esiac. That's pretty interesting. There is a detoxifying and cleansing article that I've put up there. That is some good reading as well. The mucusless diet is up there. Additional blood cleansing. Yeah, this is good info. I would recommend that you guys dip into that. It's under Did You Know on my website. Migraine headaches. I'm looking for that pesto recipe. So good. I do have the, there's a good recipe on there, pineapple, celery, and ginger. The golden milk recipe is on there, that I've talked to you guys about with the turmeric and stuff. So good, and so good for you. Anti-inflammatory. Okay, I'm not seeing it, so I will put it up there. I'll get the chelating. Actually, I'll probably just include it in your email. I'll include the link, and you can click on it and get that recipe. It's a good chelating pesto recipe. It's delicious, and that would be something good. So here's some of the other things that I wanted to add to your thing. If you guys like cilantro, get yourself some good fresh cilantro, blueberries, lemons, garlic, beets, artichokes, turmeric, ginger. Okay? Have those things on hand, fresh preferably. Other things, if you live in an area, I know I've seen them at Walmart, I've seen them at Kroger's. Those big, long, like I use in my classes, those big aloe vera leaves, the big ones that I use for swords. Sometimes they make great weapons. Get yourself one of those, because we're gonna do some aloe vera. That chelation pesto, then apple cider vinegar, raw apple cider vinegar, like Bragg's or whatever, and raw honey, spirulina powder, and 3 gallons of distilled water, and some blackstrap molasses, if you can find it. You know, just get a little container of it. Okay, those are all things that you're going to want to have on hand, as well as the kit. And in the kit, you're going to receive several different things. And then I will talk you through what to do with all that stuff. It's going to be fun. And, you know, a shaker bottle might be a good thing, you know, with the little round wiry thing in it. Or a blender, or whatever you have time for. I just try to make it easy enough for people that have busy lives and don't have a lot of time to do extra stuff. Because the whole idea with this is to make it something that's duplicatable and repeatable, that you're not going to, you know, make it a one-time deal and never do it again because it's too much trouble. I'm saying that because that's how I am. So I want this to be something that you can introduce into your lifestyle and maintain. Okay? So, on that note, let me just see if I have any other people asking me any questions. I don't see any. So, looking good. Okay, so to recap, yarrow is your go-to herb of the year. Research it if you want to grow some. I'm sure you can find it in many different places, but I would also recommend, if you're in the area, that you get a hold of Debbie Tripp. She has Rosemary Hill Nursery, and she grows some good babies. I like to get my stuff from her. And cayenne pepper is also something you need to have around, as well as plantain. Okay, now, by Sunday night, you need to have given me your email address and ordered your kit if you want to get the kit from me. Otherwise, you will receive an email no later than Wednesday, with the list of what we're going to have in our kit, as well as the other things that I think would help you and be beneficial throughout the detox time. Okay? And then kind of an outline of what we're going to do and stuff. Then Thursday night, we'll meet here after the live, and then Friday morning, it's go time. And we're going to go 3 days and detox our bodies. And I can't wait to hear the feedback. I'm excited for you guys. So again, if you've got anybody else who wants to get on board with this, they need to get in touch with me. Send me an email. Or if they order the kit, then I know that I can use the email they use for their order, and I will put them on the list to get the rest of the information. Alrighty? But I'm going to make that running list so that, you know, when it's time for Google Meet links and that kind of stuff, I've got everybody. I'll just do a mass email and blink, we're done. All right. Well, it's good to be back with you guys. God bless you, and have a really, really great, what are we? Approaching the weekend. It's nice here. It's snowing in Idaho. So I was happy to be home in my sunshiny backyard today. But I will see you soon. Again, if you have any questions or if you need to talk to me, please message me or email me, wendy@crookedhouseherbals.com. Call me if you've got my phone number. Text me. Sometimes if I don't know the number, I don't answer, so send a text first, and then, you know, I can get a hold of you. All right? God bless, guys. Have a really healthy, good week. I'm excited about what's coming up. And stay well, because nature heals you best. Love ya.